Okay, hello and welcome everyone. My name is Ann Bennett. I am the Executive Director of the Laurel Historical Society here in Maryland, and this is the second of our three-part spring speaker series. Last month, we celebrated Black History Month with a panel of guest speakers, and this month we are celebrating Women's History Month with another similar panel of guest speakers. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight live in person in Zoom or whenever you are watching the recording. Thank you for joining us. I just wanted to say that this presentation is part of the offerings of the Laurel Historical Society, and in particular, it's supporting our current exhibit, which is called It's All Laurel, City Limits and Beyond. And we'll hear from our guest panelists tonight not only about their businesses and nonprofits and their leadership, but also about the aspect of Laurel and why they chose to call Laurel home, or why they chose to center their business or organization here in Laurel, Maryland. So we wanted to kind of tie that all together and celebrate women and celebrate our city of Laurel. And just as a reminder, we also have a new temporary exhibit that we opened last month called Visions and Voices, the African American Voting Experience in Laurel. And that's about a 100-year look back from last year's historic elections in 2023, all the way back to 1920, looking at some historical pieces in our collection, looking at the timeline of the voting experience in Laurel, Prince George's County, and in Maryland in this 100-year period. So if you haven't seen it yet, please come to the museum. It will be open through June 16th, and we are open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 12 to 4 with free admission. So I am actually going to stop sharing my screen now. I will be back at the end of the presentation to tell you about some of our upcoming events here at the Historical Society, as well as to highlight some of the upcoming events that our guest speakers will be sharing later. But I just wanted to thank everyone for being here tonight. So I want to introduce first Abby Carver. She's our Education and Outreach Coordinator. So Abby will be helping us to monitor the chat and the Q&A. So again, if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to type that in, and we'll address any questions and share out links as we go through our presentation tonight. And then I also want to introduce our guest speakers just very briefly before I open it up to them to do a much better job of introducing themselves. So I will introduce, kind of going in order of my screen, Beth West. She's a LHS board member and involved with the Women's Club of Laurel. So we thank her for joining us as well. And then we have Senita from Peace on Patuxent. She was also gracious to open her lovely environment for us for our holiday house tour back in December. So we thank her for doing that and for being here with us tonight. And then finally, we have Seeta. So she's going to be talking about the business Cecil's Bar, just around the corner from Main Street, and also a little bit about her experience tying back just to our temporary exhibits about the election experience as well, and just what she brings to the community of Laurel as well. So ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. Welcome. And again, if you have any questions or comments for anybody, we ask you to put them into the chat. Okay, so we're going to just let the ladies give a quick talk about themselves, about their organizations and businesses, before we open it up to talking about Laurel, and then looking a little further afield into the future and talk about the inspiration that we can express to the next generations of women and young ladies here in Laurel. So we wanted to make sure that we talk about that. So this is my chance to say thank you not only to the panelists for this, but to all women of Laurel, and for making Laurel a great community to live in, whether it's in a position of leadership as the ladies are tonight, or if you know, you just go about your daily life in Laurel. Thank you for making Laurel home to all of us. So with that, Senita, we will start with you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and specifically your organization, Peace on Patuxent, and just kind of tell us a little bit about how it came to be, what your focus is, and what else you would like to share about your organization with us.
Great. Thank you. First, I want to thank you, both you and Abby, and the Laurel Historical Society for inviting me to be a guest and to speak. And I would also thank the City of Laurel. I have established a nonprofit respite home and day retreat here in the City of Laurel for women diagnosed with cancer. We are currently, our administrative offices are currently open, and we plan to open here in the near future, the summer of 2024, this year, and we're excited about it. And so to tell you a little bit about the respite home or our experience here. Well, based on my own personal, some of my own personal background and my professional experience, it all sort of just came together to just sort of like nudge me to move in this direction. I was always I've been a resident of Laurel for almost 20 years now. And as my children began to, as I became an empty nester, one of the things I was looking at was how was I going to move on in my next phase of life as I proceeded to, go into retirement. But things didn't work that way. It didn't work out that way for me. The little nudge and whisper came, and it was like, well, you've been doing the support and that you've been an activist and been supporting the cancer community for as long as I can remember, probably almost 17 years now. And how about you do this? And I was thinking, oh, okay. Well, I thought I was done with that challenge. But as things began to unveil, as I began to just move along, it was and canvas what was available to the women. The respite house became the place. So I launched we did a pilot program where I had some friends and we began to talk about it. And of course, they were cancer survivors or they were going through cancer at the time. And we talked about what was available to them and what did they think about me launching this program or this organization. And one of the things that we talked about was, okay, if we canvassed the area, the nearest place was over 150 miles away, or it just took 4 hours to get to, let me just say that. And one of the concerns that the women talked about or they mentioned was, how will I get there? And I knew the answer. The answer was, you don't have to go there. The there is here. They just didn't realize that we were talking about it here and now. And so that began my journey to establishing the organization, to unveiling what my thoughts were and how I would help the women. What I came to realize in doing my research and in all of my work, I know that there are respite homes for all types of people. There are respite homes for all caregivers. There are respite homes for women or families who adopt, who foster. So there are respite homes where people can go and just take a break and put your feet up or take a break from what you're doing. But there was no respite home for a woman who was battling, or let me say, trying to live her life while diagnosed with cancer. And I thought, okay, as I unveiled this, why not offer this to women? So Peace on Patuxent is that place. It's that place where a woman can go and she can feel like she is a woman again. Once she's diagnosed with cancer, it does not alleviate a woman from being a mother, a sister, or a daughter. It doesn't alleviate you from being a friend. You are just that person with cancer. And so what we do here at Peace on Patuxent and what our mission is that we allow you to come here, put your feet up at no cost. And we want you to feel like at least try to get a resemblance of what you felt before and how you felt before you were diagnosed. So that's what Peace on Patuxent offers. It is at no cost. We have there's two components to the organization. There's one component where you can come and you can stay overnight at no cost. We offer breakfast and lunch, and that's a 2-day stay. And then there is for the woman who doesn't want to come stay, she can come and just sit in the garden. And that is at no cost. And the woman that's sitting in the garden, who comes to sit in the garden and have lunch, she has the ability to have lunch with the women here in the house that stay for the 2 days. So what we do is we create an environment. It creates a community and it allows them to transform the space, and it becomes their space. So what we call it is it's a sanctuary. It's their sanctuary. It's their serenity place where they come, and it's where they can just breathe. And it's devoid of any expectations. More important, we're not affiliated with any hospitals. We're not affiliated with any doctors. We do not want that. We want to sort of break that as they come here, because you have so many expectations. There is no, you cannot bring any children, pets, or anything. You just come. That woman can just come here, and we will allow her to just decompress at no cost. One of the unique things about it, and I don't know how much time I have, but one of the unique things about it is that we plan to partner with the car service, and not Uber, not Lyft, but a car service that will pick that woman up who's going to stay overnight, and she'll come to the house and she'll stay here for 2 days. But by the time she hits the curb, from the time she hits the curb to the time she departs, she is treated like a queen. She is made to feel like she is the most important person, because she is. She is someone's precious commodity. And we have to treat her like that so that she can feel like, for once, since I've been diagnosed, I can breathe and don't have to think about those things. So that's what Peace on Patuxent is. And I share with everyone in Laurel. Laurel is uniquely situated. We're sitting in between some of the greatest hospitals. We're not far. We have all these freeways and exits in between. So you can go to DC, you can go to Maryland. You can go to Baltimore. So that makes the difference for Peace on Patuxent. And so with that, having all those things, and then I lost my train of thought just for a moment there, but with all of that in mind, that is what, we want to be here for that woman. We want her to have it. And that's where it was. And I share with everyone, if you never use this opportunity, if you never support it, although I wish everyone would, we all should be happy that this exists in the city of Laurel. We all know someone who's been diagnosed and impacted that can benefit from our services. So I'm proud to be in Laurel, and I'm proud to offer this service. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Senita, for sharing that. It's great to hear that Peace on Patuxent is getting closer towards our opening goal, and I'm so excited to hear about the first rounds of people that go through experiencing this unique place that you've brought to Laurel. Going to another community service-oriented organization, I'm going to pass it over to Beth West, who is going to share with us a little bit about the Women's Club of Laurel and some of the work that they do.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Thanks again to the Historical Society. It's so great to be here with you guys. And I'm very excited for you, Senita, to have your mission come to life. So the Women's Club of Laurel. So first of all, my name is Beth West. Hello. Hi. It's hard. We can't see anybody that's watching us, so we can only see each other. So it's like, how many of you are out there in the ether? Anyway, so I've lived in Laurel. Really, I started off living in Laurel, and then we moved to South Carolina, and so I have returned. So I returned full-time officially in 2018. And the Women's Club of Laurel, it started in 1910, and we are on Main Street, and we used to be the original Library of Laurel, and we also are part of the Greater Federation of Women's Clubs. And so just briefly to talk about sort of what that organization is done, and they're headquartered in DC. So getting seatbelts in cars, advocating for that, advocating to get a line down the middle of the road when you're driving. And another fun fact is that the Greater Federation of Women's Clubs is responsible for establishing about 75% of the national libraries, or excuse me, of the nation's libraries, which is super fitting because that's ended up the building that we started in. And we currently reside in. We don't live there, but it feels like that, doesn't it? The building that we currently have on Main Street, again, was the original library in Laurel. So currently some of the things that we do that we're really excited about, we just started doing this birthday book program. And so through the birthday book program, all of the students at Laurel Elementary on their birthday get to have a book. So it's a brand new book. And they also get a bookmark, and it's a very special treat. So that's been incredible to start that. In the Tummy Tamers program, we do with Scotchtown Hills Elementary. So we provide, I think right now we're at 30, 35 school breakfast, lunch, and dinners for the weekends for those students. And I feel like I'm talking backwards, but essentially the Women's Club is a nonprofit organization for folks who identify as women in the Laurel community and surrounding areas to come join us and serve the community. If you've ever met me, I've probably tried to recruit you to join us. And most of you have fallen into my trap. But it's a great it's a great way to network within the community. It's a great way to sort of feel like you can meet women. That was sort of one of the reasons why I joined. I originally joined with a woman who she no longer lives in Laurel, but she's actually one of my sorority sisters. We're alumni sisters. And so we both were kind of like, how do we meet people? How can we connect to the community? Because service was such an important aspect in our sorority. So she found out about the women's club. And so then I started joining, and I've stayed in Laurel, but it has helped because I think it gives you sort of a place to go and people to know, and you do feel like you get to contribute to the group. So that's kind of a little bit about the club.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Beth. And yeah, I put links so far for Peace on Patuxent and the Women's Club. And so, yes, please expect a follow-up email from Beth to recruit everyone if you are already not a member. So thank you for sharing some of that, and also the fascinating history. I didn't realize, the historical reach of the Greater Federation. So that was really some really impressive accomplishments for this organization. So Seeta, we will hear from you next. We're dying to hear more about kind of Laurel's hottest bar and nightclub and gathering space, and just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your businesses, and your involvement in Laurel.
Of course. Oh, I wish it was like any of you guys, especially thank you both, because you guys are doing such a community. I'm just entertaining here. That's really beautiful to hear. And especially thank you for historic, because just having that like day and just you guys representing me was so amazing and grateful. So I appreciate you guys too. But obviously, so I'm Seeta, business owner of Cecil's Bar in Laurel. And as you know, I ran for the mayor candidacy. It's been a journey to get here. So I know most might know about Cecil's Bar, which is off of Main Street, right across the train track, which I'm looking at right now. If you haven't been here, a lot of people call it the hidden gem of Laurel. So we opened back in 2019, right before, COVID. So we weren't able to get our word out. We weren't able to let a lot of people know. But now it's been 5 years now. And so I've been with the city. We had a lot of it was challenging permits, dealing with liquor license, building permits, WSSC. So that was a big struggle. Just running a small business, it's not just providing like a service, it's making connections, it's providing something for people to feel welcome and safe, especially women. Like we've had a lot of women come in and like, I don't like to go to certain bars because it's women owned. We feel safe here. I make sure all the staff and everything makes it safe for everyone. Including with that as well, as a mayoral candidate, the struggle through everything of running, opening, taking 5 years to open, taking 5 years to come off the ground, to be known. The mayor opportunity came up. You know, it was the first time in 20 something years that we were having a new mayor. So I've lived here my entire life, grown up here. Like I moved from on the same street, I moved from house to house. So I was like, I went to school here, went to Pilati High School, and then I ran for Miss Laurel Teen Maryland, Miss Laurel Maryland. So I represented us there, and I was just like, let me take the shot, right? Like I want to make a difference. I want to be that something. So that drove me to want to just put my name out there, see if I can make a change. I didn't win the election, of course, but that was me just stepping my foot in the door and understanding. And I'm so grateful for it because I was able to experience a new, you don't know what it's like. A lot of election life is completely different. You know, the image is on you. I came from bar owner to like running for, something important. So your whole image has to change. Everything about you has to change. I've gained so much knowledge and everything. It's always, like I said, I was nervous here to come sit and talk, but I did a debate with multiple, elections. So that with other people, which were great at speaking. And that was so nerve wracking. That was so like being the only woman up there, being young was terrifying. I was shaking. I almost ran off when I first got up there. I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Right. So getting over that and learning. And like, I just hope, and with growing a business, taking that step forward. That's a little bit about, my story and the business. And I'm really just trying to grow the business, make sure I can be that like light in Laurel. Because I think we're one of the first like nightclubs in Laurel, as a lot of people want to call it that, with this really beautiful patio. I would love for everyone to come out and enjoy. Just want to be that something different in Laurel, that women safely, everyone can enjoy, be safe, and everyone can learn from. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, Senita, that's great. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, I was looking, I put your link through your Yelp hours into the chat. I just want to say that you have some great hours because you're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, opening at 4. And I just have to say, coincidentally, that's when the museum closes. So you can see the museum and then head over to Cecil's bar, just come right down Main Street. So.
And funny, well, my sister actually just took my niece and nephew there. They're about 3 and 4. And apparently they saw me in the thing. They were like, oh my God, my aunt's famous. My aunt's famous. Like, look at her. It was so cute. She's like, it was the cutest thing ever. So that was awesome to even be a part of. Like, again, I thank you so much for that.
Well, great. Well, thank you for sharing everything about your businesses, your backgrounds. So we wanted to kind of focus again more on circling back to the place, so the significance of Laurel for your business, for your involvement with the community. So Beth, we'll start with you on this question. I know it's a little different for you since you're just one part of a larger organization that's been here, for a long time in the community. But I guess, what attracted you to be involved with the organization? You already hit on some great programs that you're involved with, some great things that the organization as a whole is doing. But, what is it that is Laurel about the organization, or what does your organization highlight about the Laurel as a community?
Oh, that's a really great question. I want to say everything we do is sort of related back to Laurel, but I think really, right, like it'd be nice to say that and it'd be true. But it is true. But I think probably being able to, I think we really have a good grasp of connecting to the students. So I think we've been able to sort of reach a good, it's not just sort of like the, what we call it, the city part of Laurel, but it's sort of the greater Laurel community. So I think we're able to kind of contribute pretty well to the students in the area. I think we all wish we could do more. And so I think that's something that's a little bit unique to us. I think it's difficult to find, as we've done our research in our own club, it's difficult to find manageable and readily available either state or county programs for students when it comes to food after school. We've really looked into that a lot, and they're there. It's just, again, the manageable and readily available. And I think also some of the women in the club, they have such a great knowledge of the things that we've done for Laurel. And so I think being able to help sort of start the Laurel Library, sort of help PG County get libraries in general. I know we did a lot of the things on Main Street, like the stoplight at the end of where Main Street and Route 1 meet. And I think we would oil the streets, which someone told me what that meant. I don't remember what it means, but I'm sure it's good. Helping clean debris and things on the side, on Main Street and stuff. So I think we do a lot in that regard. And then I guess for me personally, I don't spend as much time in Laurel. I tend to sort of hang out in Baltimore or DC, or although I'm very excited. Feel like I don't know how I did not know about Cecil's Bar, but girl, I'm gonna be there. You will see me. I will definitely be going. So I don't normally hang out that much in Laurel, mostly because we don't, that's awesome, because that's sort of the nightlife we're looking for. But well, for me, but anyway, so I think being able to give back to the community where I live, despite maybe not always hanging out socially in the area, is sort of I don't know, it's important to me. So that was just sort of yeah.
Okay, yeah, Beth, thank you so much. And yeah, I again encourage you to look at the Women's Club, get involved, and check out their history, because I think, just as Beth said again, there's so much about Laurel and just even Main Street, that we take for granted because of the hard work and the advocacy of the women that have come before us. So so I wanted to turn it back over to Senita now to kind of answer the same question. And I was kind of curious, as you again, tell us about why, expand a little bit on why you chose Laurel. I know you talked a little bit about the locations in relation to other facilities, especially the doctors in Baltimore. But I was also kind of curious because the Patuxent figures so prominently in your name. Is it just because of the street location? Is there any type of cue from the natural environment of the Patuxent River that's so close to your facility? I was just kind of curious about that. So if you wanted to talk to it, that's fine. If not, I was just kind of putting that question out there. So if you would just want to let us know about your connection to Laurel.
Yeah. So I'm a native Marylander, born and raised first. So, but Laurel is a hidden gem. Laurel, the city of Laurel, is a hidden gem. The fact that we are encompassed by 4 counties, and I say 4, I say PG, Howard, and Arundel, and I always add in Burtonsville, which is Montgomery County, and I say they kicked us out, but Montgomery County as well. And so we're uniquely situated, and the property is directly across from the Patuxent River. So, to me, when I thought of Peace on Patuxent, for various reasons, we lived here in Laurel, being in Laurel. I thought the Patuxent River runs a long way. I heard Seeta talk about getting permits and all of that. I know that Patuxent, we had Little Patuxent, Big Patuxent, it can run all the way up Maryland. So I knew that it was going to be on the river. To me, water is tranquil. And I believe that it will carry over to the women. We're not directly on the water. However, if they took a walk down to the river, you can see the water. It's not a whole lot unless it's a big storm and then we get a flood zone, we get out for a flood warning. But that's about Peace on Patuxent. To me, it was just trying to find some peace. And if we had to choose another location, I was so bent, and I still am bent, that it will always be on the Patuxent, somewhere near the Patuxent, because it runs just that far. And so Laurel itself, since being here, the city, and I would be remiss if I did not say I'm a member of the Women's Club, of the Laurel Women's Club. So, and I'm proud to be a member of the Laurel Women's Club. Beth did recruit me, but I am a proud member. One, because it's all about women. I believe in women. I support women. I am a woman. I'm a woman's advocate at heart. And so Laurel now is just flanked by women. And so these women to me right now are we're just in a position to everyone reach back and help one up, each one teach one. We are there. We are now in positions to teach the younger kids, to teach them to be servants. And so I think this is the place where we have a reach in all of these counties to say, this is what women are doing, and this is where women can get some help, and she can just come for Peace on Patuxent to get what she needs, just to take a moment to breathe. So that's fine.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Senita. And I think Seeta, there we go. Seeta is popping in and out there.
I went to unmute, but I videoed off.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So we just heard from Senita about, kind of the power of plays and just not like the main street, like Beth said, but also about like the natural boundaries as well. So talk to us again about why you were attracted to be in Laurel, in the town you grew up in. Was it the potential that you saw? Was it the actual building, the location? Kind of just fill us in on Cecil's Bar and your involvement with the community.
So like I said, I've grew up in Laurel as well. So 26 years of my life, pretty much raised here, went to school here. And so Beth, I want to join the Women's Laurel Club, of course.
Excellent.
Because of owning this business and opening it, I actually, which I don't know if many people know about, is the Laurel Ladies Club. It's kind of a group on Facebook. And I know people run it, so like I want to put that out there. That's kind of what inspired me as well, to just kind of like, they do their meetings here, we do it monthly, and we just like sit, we do vision boards, we talk about, like what women are in the community, like men should open their door for us, so that kind of really got me going as a woman. They were all so supportive when I was running, and so that, it's just like a regular Facebook group, I believe. It's called Ladies of Laurel, but love to combine the two because I think that would be amazing. With Laurel being said, we're in a great location. We're 30 minutes from DC, we're 30 minutes from Baltimore. You live and 30 minutes from Annapolis, right? Our capital. So we're in a great spot. We have Main Street growing, which a lot of people say it's like Ellicott City growing. And so as I wanted to run and change things, I would have loved to make like Main Street, like old Ellicott City Main Street, make it that spot where like people want to come visit, make it that thing. And so a lot of people do not know about Cecil's Bar. Like that, I wish, it's just kind of like, we've been here. No, it's okay. It's okay. Because it's a lot of people just don't know. And they say they call it the hidden gem. Like, you guys will come here and they're like, how did you get here? How did you find this? So Laurel to me is obviously been my heart. It's my home. I've tried to escape many times and it keeps bringing me back. My parents were born in another country, but came here, and we've been here since. So all my siblings, everyone else, I'm the only one that was born here. So I pretty much have just grown and raised, and I've watched the Laurel Mall, the carnivals, the Laurel Mall. I've watched all that. Now it's a town center. So it means a lot to me. It's been in my blood for now 26 years, and I'm young, but Laurel just, that's why I want to make, not a difference, but I want to make a staple here. I want to help the community. I want to serve the community, make it not better, but just like enjoyable so that everyone can come together. And like I said, I've never been a feminist or this women's part, but like this has opened up my eyes. It's made me feel powerful. It's made me feel wonderful. And I really hope that like this experience can translate to other people. And it doesn't just have to be women-owned businesses. It could just be equal, So yeah.
No, I think that's great. And, certainly we kind of hear the same sentiments expressed. Senita said it about Laurel in general. We hear it all the time at the museum about, a hidden gem, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because you want more people to know about it, but also for the people that discover the place, the business, the bar, the organization, you have that immediate connection now because we are all kind of connected, in the present and then, connected with what came before us. So that's, it's a different way to look at it. But now hopefully in part due to this presentation tonight, we'll get to celebrate more of the accomplishments of our panelists tonight and the rest of the women in the community of Laurel here. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have another question. It's kind of a two-part question, so feel free to think about it or take as long as you want to answer it. But we've touched upon it a little bit in the responses so far. But in terms of celebrating women's history, empowering women, and just like Seeta said, being connected not just to women, but to the larger community of Laurel. What does it mean to you personally as a woman business owner, as a woman leader in a nonprofit, as a woman founder of an organization? What does that status kind of mean to you in this day and age, in our time in general, or in Laurel specifically? And we'll talk a little bit, kind of the second part of that question is if you have any advice or inspiration or encouragement to the younger generations coming after us. So let's see, Abby, who should we start with?
Let's see. Senita, do you want to kick us off with that? I think this is also kind of your time to share a little bit because I know you've been in Laurel for quite a while now, so it's a good chance to talk about if you've seen any changes over your time here in terms of female leadership involvement, or if there's anything in the future that you would like to see change for future people that are running your organization or other organizations similar to it.
Yeah, thanks. So the first part, of course, it was a lot. The first part was with serving. First, for me, being a founder, the CEO of a nonprofit, it's humbling. It's humbling because it's a nonprofit and it's about giving. And there are rewards, and the reward is seeing that woman or the service expound, seeing more people come through the door. I've shared that for a nonprofit, everything is fundraising. Everything is, we're 501c, so we're dependent on charitable donations. But it is seeing all those things come together. It's seeing other people or hearing other people spread the word that they can trust me with their loved ones, trust our organization with their loved ones. That is, that's what it's about. I think that the younger people, the younger generations behind us, I don't feel as though they understand giving as much or giving of selfless services. I think that is, we're at that place where we can teach, and I'm glad to be in that position, more so for young women. And it also gives you, to me, it instills some self-respect, some self-guidance. It gives you some principles to stand by that you can pass on. So I'm honored. I think, as I said, that we have two women on our council. That was not happening when I first came into Laurel. I've seen Laurel change from being a male-dominant city to being a more diverse city. It's diverse in both culturally and feminine. It's diverse. Can't even get the word out. It's diverse. So and it's a city of acceptance. It's a city, a very inclusive city. I've seen that happen in my time of being here. So Laurel, to me, is a robust city. It's not a fast growing city. It's a slow city. It's a slow town, but it's growing. What I'd like to see is us grow more schools as we grow our city. I'd like to see us slow down a little bit. I like the old Laurel. Some of the things I did not like, but I know that in time we still have to grow. I know that our city is growing, but so is our council. So with that, I think we have more wisdom and more things will come. I'm not a politician. I am here to serve the women. So I tell people we will never have a shortage of clients. Keystone Patuxent will not have a shortage of clients. What we will have is we want to ensure that we have enough funding to provide services to these women. So again, it's just a humbling place for me to be, and I'm glad that I'm here. I'm doing the work. So thank you.
Well, Senita, thank you. We're very proud to have, you as an advocate, as a resident of Laurel, and for bringing such a fabulous organization to Laurel. And again, we're talking about the power of place, the connections we're all making in our community, but it's really not just a Laurel thing. Your outreach is hopefully, far flung, and to bring people to Laurel from other communities and to share what makes Laurel unique, with them, and to kind of share that with others as well. And I think you also are doing that, you said, in terms of educating the next generation. I think you're also doing that by leading by example, and sharing your passion and your advocacy, and just having, just having that inspiration and as an example for younger generations that see you and can model their advocacy and education, on the steps that you're forming now in your business. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Good. So Seeta, I think we'll pass it over to you next. So again, what does it mean to be a woman business owner in Laurel? You've talked about that a little bit, but also, as you had said, being part of that evolution that Senita just mentioned, that growing, that changing face of Laurel in terms of what the slate of candidates looked like in the last election, in terms of the changes that you might continue to inspire and advocate for. So any thoughts along those lines?
Yet again, thank you to Beth and Senita, that you guys have done wonderful. What you're doing is amazing. I wish I could be just like you. And like I said, I love it. That's at me youth growing up. So appreciate that. I mean, as a woman in this, especially in this industry, I mean, it kind of means empowerment, resilience, and like breaking barriers, like defying the social norms. A lot of times people come into my business, right? And I'll be sitting on my laptop, like just looking like a customer, and they're like, oh, the guy behind the bar, because he's a guy. Oh, that's the owner. Let me talk to him. Like, no, actually, she's the owner, right? And they're all like, oh, shit, like, So it doesn't mean that gender has to determine success, And I also went to college for engineering, and there was that glass ceiling. It was like, okay, you guys can't do it as good as us. Like, nope, that's not true. And so being able to inspire other women and entrepreneur, like their dreams, creating opportunity, creating growth, just like all of us are, is like, I lack confidence, I've lacked ambition, but a lot of people look to me like, oh, well, you did this, and I'm like, I did this, so it's like I would, and I guess an example, because I think we got some time. Back in high school, they did the program where like I wanted to be a union leader really bad, right? So these are the leaders that like lead the under classmates. So once I got older and grew up, I was like, wow, I feel like I can really like kind of just lead these younger ones because I've been through that experience, because I know. Never got chosen, but since then I've always wanted to just help and lead the women or just in general, that need that help, that could be there. So as a woman business owner, and that is ran for it, it's been, like I said, there's been this flaws, this experience. I'm so glad to be part of it. I'm so glad to meet all of you ladies tonight, right here, right now. It's such a beautiful moment for me, because a lot of things have gone downhill, it's gone uphill, but like this is so good, just experience and help the community. And I hope that any woman out there that needs help can come to me, Beth or Senita, for any of that, and as well as my Laurel ladies. So I really appreciate it. I hope you have the confidence, the ambition, and keep it going. And you guys should come out to support.
Seeta, thank you for that. Yeah, and then certainly, I express my gratitude, to you and to the rest of our panelists, and certainly just a shout out to the women of the Laurel Historical Society. So Abby
Absolutely. Thank you,
included, but
guys.
also we have Beth on our board, but we also have a very large board, and a lot of those are filled with women in the positions of board members, leadership roles on the executive committee, and not to mention our founders. We had 2 co-founders of the Laurel Historical Society were women as well. So there's a long history of that, that legacy of women's roles in leadership and preserving the history of Laurel, and for the next generation as well. So Beth, that's a nice segue to you if you want to kind of take the last question and kind of wrap it up in terms of
Sure.
being a leader kind of now in 2 nonprofits, and not only with the Historical Society but as a women's club representative on this panel tonight, but also in terms of the changes that you might have noticed or seen with your time here in Laurel.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks. I really was thinking, I know Christine is on the call, Councilwoman Christine Johnson is on the call, but she just hosted the Women's Month event. And I was just sort of thinking about that because I think what was so special about that, it was sort of the first event I had been to where I really was like, oh, I know this person, or I know this face, or where I could kind of connect with people that I'd met before. So I think it was really special, and I kind of had this aha moment I sort of alluded to earlier, where I don't really socialize a lot in Laurel, and I said maybe I should start because it was really great to sort of see some of the incredible women that have I've volunteered with before, or we've worked together, or they're working on something incredible, and it might be something that I want to participate in. So I think in general, I guess from my own perspective and my own experience, it feels as if it's a very friendly and welcoming environment, Laurel. And so being a woman in this area, especially with an interest in volunteering, it feels like it's easy to sort of start and kind of get comfortable with it. And, with the caveat that I guess you have to show up in order to feel that way. So, but, and then I guess, I'm trying to think. I'm referencing back at your questions because we did get these earlier. But so I guess any changes that I would like to see, I guess, or kind of how I envision in the future. I think what I'd really like to see, honestly, is a lot more of the younger people sort of participate. Because I feel like it's been difficult to, even at recruitment type events that we've done for either participating at the National Night Out or, Main Street Festival, I feel like sometimes there's like this barrier. So I guess what I'd really like to see is, listening to our younger voices and our younger community members and sort of figuring out a way, how can we make it more open or more accessible for them to participate? Because I do think that young women like to volunteer, and I'm 27. I hope I'm still young, So it's like I think we do like to get out and do things, but I think it's difficult to know where to start. But just sort of maybe figuring out that barrier, because I know that there's other young women in the area, but that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see some more young ladies out there.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing that. Kind of along those lines of getting more younger people involved. I know Anne kind of touched on earlier, giving thanks to some of our board members. We also do have a wonderful core group of volunteers, and those do span multiple generations. And that has been one of the great joys of being at the Historical Society. And I think it shines true in the Women's Club too, to a certain extent, is that there are people across several generations that are all working together. And that's becoming more rare in my experience, is being able to be involved in places that have people from their 20s up into people in their 80s. So it's really nice to see spaces like that that exist, that are welcoming of everyone who want to come and be involved. So thank you for sharing that. I also wanted to call out my fun favorite things about each of your organizations because none of you mentioned them. So the Women's Club also has a little free library out front, and it is adorable and it matches the Women's Club. So if you haven't had a chance to see their little free library, you should walk down past their building on Main Street. Senita has a beautiful garden on her property that is absolutely lovely and is going to make such a wonderful addition to Peace on Patuxent when it opens. And Seeta, I think you already know where I'm going with this. Seeta has fantastic decorations. She actually won the 2023 Main Street Decorating Contest for Christmas.
Right now, if you guys don't know we're located, I mean, we're kind of, as my business is going, that's the, no, you can't see. Okay. That is the Main Street trail, not trail, the train station. Okay, you can't see anything, but I'm trying to hide from everyone so they don't ask me to work.
Yeah, she had tons of inflatables out. It was very fun. So I just wanted to highlight some of the really fun things about each of the organizations that I know are a little less serious than the other things we discussed tonight, but still deserve highlighting.
I think that's great. Yeah, thank you, Abby, for pointing that out. So what I want to do just right now, give our panelists a chance to take a breath before we tackle some of the questions and comments. So please, audience participants, please put your comments and questions in. We'll make sure that we loop back around to our panelists, make sure that we know how to get more information, how to get involved, and all that good stuff. And we will also send out a follow-up email as well. But Senita sent a quick video that I just want to share my screen. It's only about 30 seconds long. I will try to play it if you can see it in the background there. My video quality is not great, but I just want you to kind of have a visual of the piece that is just present in this place. Long as I can, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be peace in this heart. It's gonna be peace in this heart. Gonna be some tender talk and some sweet little nothings that add up to the some things we can live without. It's gonna be peace in this heart. So there, I just wanted to share that and just a very brief overview of just the gathering spaces, the beautifully decorated bedrooms. And then like Abby said, we'll have to wait for the rest of spring to see the beautiful gardens as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. So I'm gonna go and share my screen just one more time and just talk about some of our upcoming events here at the museum as well as Laurel. So the final part of our spring speaker series is going to be next month on April 11th. Laurel volunteer Jimmy Rogers and resident, he's going to be talking about how we're in the process of transitioning the museum plantings to more of a native plant environment and a pollinator garden. So he's been working with us the past year and a half to get that in place and just to talk about how you can do it at your own houses or some of your businesses as well. So we will put the link in the chat or in the follow-up email to you as well. So we hope to see you register for that, and then that will also be recorded. So if you can't join us live, please do register in advance for it, and we'll send you the link to our YouTube afterward. And then Senita shared this with us. She has a fundraiser coming up on May 4th at Goody Mansion, which is the beautifully restored property at the city of Laurel, right there on Laurel Lakes off of Route 1. So please feel free to scan the QR code now on the screen, or we'll put the link in the follow-up email as well. But this is just a great way to gather to support Senita and her work, and to reach out to other women and members of our community as well. So that is on May 4th. It's an afternoon tea and fundraiser. And then just real quick, these are to save the dates for the Laurel Historical Society on June 2nd. Sunday, we are having our annual gala. The theme this year is going to be a speakeasy soiree. So it's going to be 1920s, jazz age, festivities, and we will be at the Great Room at Savage Mill again. So save the date now and then buy tickets shortly. For the gala as well as the Laurel Garden Tour. So speaking of beautiful gardens and getting to know our place and our environment and our city a little bit better, the garden tour is coming back after a year off. And so the tickets will be available for that very shortly as well. And that will be on June 22nd. That is a Saturday. I mistyped that. So please disregard that point. It is on Saturday, June 22nd. And we will have tickets available for that shortly. So please mark your calendar for that Saturday. And then just real quick to remember that, we are a nonprofit. And so if you want to support programs like this at the Historical Society, please do join or renew your membership or send a donation to us for programs like this in the future. And thank you for your support. And then finally, if you have any follow-up questions or comments, please feel free to contact us. We can put you in touch with our guest panelists tonight, give you any additional information about the Historical Society or the museum. And then here's our contact information if you want to just follow up, email or call us. And don't forget that our museum is open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 12 to 4 with our current exhibit, it's All Laurel, and then our temporary exhibit, Visions and Voices. So that is my brief announcement. I am going to stop talking. I'm going to check in with Abby to see if there's any questions or comments we want to answer on air. If not, we'll be ready to wrap up in just a few minutes.
I think we got through most of the questions while we were covering each person talking. We did have lots of really wonderful comments that were left from people, a lot about the women's club. So Beth, I'd encourage you to go through and kind of read those. Thank you to everyone for the great support from that. It is such a gem to have that in our community, and all the work that they do for the children of Laurel and the greater community is really fantastic. The one question that we did have, and Seeta, you are welcome to pass on this and say, I don't know.
Is it for me or we can go?
We did have someone ask if you were considering running for office again in the future.
So now that I got my foot in the door and now I know what it's like, what is to do. So city council is in 2 years, right? And then let's say I get city council, then the next 2 years will be mayor. Consideration, a big consideration. Now that I just know, I understand, just as a woman, as understanding, very big consideration. So thank you for that question.
No pressure, not anything official, but
should I leave? Should I go to Hawaii? Should I go back to Hawaii?
But no, again, I think it's just really great to see, young, passionate women in that role. And, part of the experience is the participation in the running, like you said, and meeting people and talking. And so, yeah, I think that's...
a lot of people came back and was like, what happened? I was like, what do you mean by 47 votes? No, but a lot of people came back. Like, I wish I was more prepared. I wish I knew more. I wish there was a lot that had happened. There was a lot that went wrong, but I was so happy to have my foot in that door and experience something that, most people don't experience. So on next time, if I'm ready, I'll be ready.
That's wonderful. Thank you for being so honest.
Thank you.
So that is it. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight or whenever you're watching this webinar. And to our guest panelists, thank you so much for all that you do for Laurel, for the women in the community and beyond. And I will just open it up now. Do either of you or all three of you have any other questions or comments or anything you wanted to promote, any events, any ways to get involved, any needs, anything like that you want to share in conclusion?
Well, all you ladies better come to Cecil's right now and come have a ladies drink on me. And then we post it. We're good.
I think so. Yeah. Well, like I said, when the museum closes, we'll be open.
Oh yeah.
So that's great. And Beth, Senita, anything else?
Well, I guess for me, I would just say that, we are a nonprofit and we are seeking volunteers. We have a lot of events coming up. We do need volunteers to just available. And as we go through our events, we'll be calling on people. And I suggested, or I would welcome everyone to walk out to to look at our website and just just take a look at it. Submit if you're interested. If you have any questions, you can email me offline. And again, we're a 501c nonprofit and we accept donations. And I hope to see many of you at the tea. Yes, it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, and we had a question too about the garden. So I would just say, follow you on, on your website. And then hopefully in the spring, you'll be sharing,
Absolutely.
pictures of your beautiful garden.
And I'll just say, we meet the first Thursday of the school year at 7:30, or no, sorry, at 7. And so feel free to stop on by. I always encourage people to come to a meeting or two just to kind of get a vibe, see if it's your place. And we usually every October we'll do like a membership meeting where we answer lots of questions. But we'll make sure that you get the email. So or the email to ask if you have any, interested in joining. So yeah. And thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Okay. Well, this is great. Okay, so I will stop the recording now. So thank you again for joining us, but we'll stay on for just a few more minutes if there's anything else. So thank you again for joining us and supporting Laurel and the wonderful people and women that live and work here.
Thank you.